Okay, everybody, and welcome to another series of our Do What You Love show at Outsourcing Angel. And today I have the privilege to interview my mentor. I can't believe it's been over 10 years, and now we're together in one place again, and I get to ask her those questions that I've always wanted to ask about why she is such an awesome leader. So hi, Antoinette, how are you?
I'm good, Len. Thank you for the wonderful introduction.
Thank you so much. And I know this is your first time on Facebook Live as well as using this tool. So fingers crossed it goes well. Compared to last week, we had a bit of a technical problem. But, I want to go straight into learning more about you and sharing you to the world, because you've been such an inspiration for me. I had the first job outside of uni with you, and you molded me into the leader that I am today. So I am so grateful for that, and I want everyone else to learn a little bit about you. So can you share with us, about yourself?
Yeah, well, I'm 58 now. When I met you, I was 48, so I have a 5 in front of my name. Came from a family of immigrants, so that gave me a lot of drive because they came to Australia for a better life. So we had a cake shop which we lived and worked in, 1-bedroom flat. We always had people living in there. My mum was very keen on us not being pastry cooks. She said, "Not enough money, go to uni." So that's what we did. Started my life as a high school teacher. Really loved that, except after about 4 years, when everyone was coming back and they're all telling me the exciting careers they were starting, ex-students, I went, I think I'm going to be a bit bored here. I don't want to have this for the rest of my life. So, look, I went into doing more study. I went into teaching TAFE, then I went into operational audits, human resource management, supply chain. Worked in probably about 6 different industries. I was working in the public sector for 14 years and the rest of my career in the private sector. And now I'm in a board position. I'm back in the giving a little bit back into the public sector. So been extremely varied. I guess the thing, though, that I have done is I've done jobs no one else wanted to do. So it's usually because it's been a startup company, it's been a company in trouble. There's always been something, or it's a really big project no one else wants to do. Very male-dominated, so I picked jobs in companies where no one else wanted to do it. So.
And why is that? Is that because of the challenge that you like?
Yeah, and I'll be really honest, it really paid well. I was a single mum, and my salary unfortunately was a big driver. But I now have 2 children, 2 adult children. They've got kids themselves, and they've got choices. My daughter is now a new mum. She can take a year off. I couldn't do that. So it all, takes one generation to make, one to build it, hopefully one to grow on it.
Yes.
And then hopefully it keeps going that way.
Wow, thank you so much. Yeah, that is so interesting. But the one thing that I did remember about you is your leadership skill. It's like, can you share with us, how did you become such a great leader? Because I felt so inspired going to work. I felt special even though I was just an undergraduate. So can you share with us, how did you become a great leader?
Interesting. When I was writing down some notes before the meeting, Len, I came up with something, and basically you want to be the best person that you can be, and to be the best person you can be, you should be trying to make others the best they can be. And the reason I say that's a little bit funny is that my mum, who was 88, I was talking to her about a board strategic meeting I'd been at, and I said, I don't know if I went really well, Mum. And she said, you always are the best you can be, Antoinette. And so it was really, and also I never asked anyone to do things that I wouldn't do. be that working in a warehouse, picking and packing. I might add, I don't really want to do that as a career. It was very hard.
Yep.
And I could always roll my sleeves up. However, it was also through education as well. And I had a couple of really good mentors in my career as well. Okay. But basically, I held on to the premise that you should never do anything to anyone or say anything to anyone if you can. We all have moments.
Mm-hmm.
That you wouldn't like being said to you. And,
I like that.
Yeah. So that was, and look, I think one of the other things, Lynn, was the fact that people told me after I was a teenage mum, and they said, "Oh, that's it. You're barefoot and pregnant for the rest of your life." Every time someone says something negative, I've always taken that as a challenge to be better.
Yes. I like that too. Yeah, I can totally relate to that as well. So like, I know when I say, you're a great leader, and we sort of assume we know what a great leader is, but can you elaborate more on like, what do you really think a great leader is? Because some people think they're great, but they're not. So I guess, what's your terminology around really defining a great leader?
A great leader is someone that inspires, someone that listens, someone that sees talent in people that they potentially don't even see themselves. And it's also about when you find someone with a talent. God, I can remember you, Lynn, in terms of you ended up as a graduate trainee. I still remember the day you came in, and I knew there was something different about you. I couldn't put, and it took me about 18 months to really work it out, but I knew there was something different. And it's about someone, and I think probably the trait that attracted me to give you a job is the same trait that I think every leader has to have, and that's integrity. You have to be honest. Look, there's a lot of people call themselves leaders, but, I've actually walked away from a couple of jobs because I haven't wanted to sacrifice my integrity. Yep. And that's where your basic core values, and I think a lot of your core values are actually taught from when you're a child. How to work hard, how to treat people well. Yep. So they must. The integrity is absolutely critical for people, I believe. And you've got to be passionate about what you're doing, and you've also got to be able to put really good people together. You've got to know, for example, if someone in your team is really good at writing, but someone is really good at number crunching, maybe they can learn with each other. So it's about, I've always hired or recruited people to work with me, and that's a big thing. I don't think you'll ever recall me saying anyone worked for me in my lifetime. I've always worked with people. And I haven't just said it, I've really believed it. Yeah, I learned that from you as well. I use that term as well. And it's putting the teams together. Oh, some of the teams I've had are the most amazing people. In terms of, I remember doing a psych test once for a mining job, and because they're engineering centric, it was so much maths, and that's not my forte. And I actually felt I didn't do well, but I rang up the guy that I eventually worked for, and I said, "Look, where that test is wrong is you should have asked me how I could get 100%, because I just would have brought in the best of all the people I know, and together we would have got all the right answers. Because in a workplace, that's what happens. Yeah, and it's happened more. So Yep. That's really good. My mind just went blank there for a second. I was going to share something, but I totally forgotten. But yeah, I guess what you mean by it all is you usually look for the soft skills in someone. Yeah, as a leader, you can see beyond just the resume or beyond what that person is saying. It's almost that instinct that you have of a person that you follow. Is that what you follow when you're picking people? Yeah. There was one young guy. It was really funny. That's what I've loved about it over the years with different people I've worked with. I'm still in touch with them, and I remember guy coming in, and it was between him and someone else. As he got up, he said to me, "My mum is going to be so excited if I get this job." That's what got it. The fact that he cared about his mother and what she thought.
Yeah. You're funny. But yeah, I love that you also give people a go, because you don't obviously find someone that's already perfect in every way. You look for some skills that they have or the potential that they have, and then you're willing to work with them. And I think at the end you reap the reward, because you get the people that are loyal, that felt that you believed in them. Whereas I found that sometimes you work with business owners who expect to have the perfect staff from day one. What do you have to say about that?
It just doesn't happen. You won't get the best person. I've seen a lot of people. They're very, very polished at interviews. They just polish. I was shocking at interviews, and I really recognise that an interview one-on-one, there has to be different ways of looking at recruiting. I remember once I actually got the team to take the person out. And got them to see how they would all work together. I said, really, these are the people you work with the most. And the other thing is not looking for people who are fantastic at what you do. If you're fantastic at something, why do you need anyone else? It's about being honest about what you're not good at and accepting. Yep. And I think one of the biggest challenges I've seen for people that are potentially fantastic leaders is they're so brilliant. They don't know when to let go and let others go. They get into the detail, and they're not looking strategically at, okay, how do I get this team to be the best team, to get the best outcomes? How do I do that? Because I think in some ways that's why I've done okay in engineering firms, is in procurement in engineering companies, it's because I'm not an engineer, so I don't get into detail. I focus on what it is I'm good at and the team are good at. And I feel a bit sorry for brilliant people. It must be very difficult.
I agree with you. I always feel like, why, if I could make the team do everything, I don't have to really do much. Just sometimes, but then a lot of people just can't delegate or think that it's faster or easier if they just do it. So they're stuck. Yeah.
Delegation, the ability to do that relates to trust.
Yeah.
You have to trust people. And so many people I see that call themselves leaders, they're more line managers, in that they don't give people the scope to actually make a mistake and to learn from it. And they micromanage. And look, I just don't believe in micromanaging. You've got to let people go. And I think in terms of developing the trust with your team members, that they can actually run something by anyone in the team and go through if they've made an error, and they're not frightened to say they have. Like, you don't want to make it a few times. But the other thing, Lynn, that I do feel pretty strongly about with leaders is people that I've seen over the years taking the credit for other people's work.
I hate that. That's my pet hate.
Recognition in people that you're working with is fantastic for everyone. And people get caught out. People get caught out by making that lie. And again, you've got integrity. If you have a look at it, integrity, everything flows down from integrity. Yes. Integrity means treating people well, like you'd like to be treated. It means being honest with yourself about what you're good or you're not good at, honest about how hard you work. And look, that's the other thing. I do believe in working hard. That was, again, that comes back from my migrant background, is that no one did not work hard with my mum. No one. One of the things I found really difficult as a leader in my young ages, when I was about your age, in one of my first jobs, was not realising not everyone wants to go up the ladder. I never did that. And not everyone does. Some people really love the one thing they're really good at, and they just want to do that, and they're passionate. The other
Yep.
thing is they may have different commitments. They may have elderly parents to look after. They may have children at home. You know, people have got different things that you don't always know about. I think that was a really big lesson.
Okay.
It's about that. Not everyone wants to be their CEO or the CEO.
Yes. Yeah.
I've worked in some companies where it's toxic because everyone wants to be, and that way they don't share. Which company, but I have. I didn't stay there too.
Yeah. But yeah, I think you're right. It's like everyone's got different goals and purpose in life, and we have to listen out to what they really want. And and as a leader, you just got to learn to actually understand them, each team member better. And yeah, I agree with that. Actually, when you talk about integrity, I think you take integrity to another level. Like, I remember you being the most authentic person ever, just being yourself, having a great laugh. You joke around a lot. How do you, I guess, share, because sometimes I know leaders or bosses can act quite serious because I think they need to be putting on an employer hat, or like, well, we're in a professional environment, we've got to act this way. And what I've learned from you, which I've taken on board now, is like, you get what you see from me. You know, if you see me out on the street and you see me at work, I'm quite the same person. And it's made, the team members so comfortable. And where did you learn to be just yourself like that and not be like every other boss who acts like a boss?
Oh, look, my first day of school, I was 4 years old, and the nuns put me in the corner for laughing. I think nothing.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
There was a book someone gave me years ago called The Leadership Dilemma. I forget who wrote it, but in this book, the premise that the author posited was that when a crisis happens, people revert to their natural leadership style, not their learnt. So I guess it's a lot easier to do. My leadership style isn't for everyone. And I think that's the other thing is there's just lots of different leaders, and I'm just, that's got me into trouble more than anything, I think, Lynn.
Yeah, in the corporate world, I think, you will get in trouble a lot. I guess as an entrepreneur or business owner, I guess you get away with doing whatever you like. But I definitely think it's my favorite style, because all I know is everyone around me feels comfortable, like I'm their friend, and they share with me everything. Same as with my kids, I want them to not feel like I'm the parent. I'm their friend as well, and so I want them to let me know if they've got any problems or things at school. So I think it's just the best approach. I don't know about you, but I think it's the best.
And also, and it comes around to the skills. It's about people's probably years and years and years ago. I'm going back. No, you were born probably just. There was a guy in Australia who used to write a lot of books on body. Alan Pease. He's still around, I believe, him and his wife. And they did a lot on body language. And that was probably the best books I ever read. And I used to watch all these videos. And, I advise anyone to have a look at those, because that's how, as well, people like yourself and I, we pick up on things just by people. And you can actually tell that something's not right. And you know how far you can take the questions as well.
Yep.
And I guess that comes also down to being a good leader, is sometimes you've got to actually have some hard conversations. You can't be everyone's friends. So you've got to be able to balance being open. I probably learned at different stages the sorts of people I couldn't be too open with.
Yep.
But it's about sharing some of those things. And when I was working in India and Brazil, I really found that was very, very helpful, and also with Indigenous groups. I've done a lot of work with Indigenous groups around Australia, because they actually base everything, as you know, at the beginning of the business discussion about family. It's about sharing it.
Interesting.
So, Indigenous and Indians were the same. A lot of Australians went to India and they were just, and the Danish that I was working with, they were just straight in there like bulldogs, and, you know, it was all about business. But
Yes.
they really, the fact that you actually genuinely shared information about your family. So, yeah, they're sorts of, but not one. Oh, look, some people I must drive up the wall. I remember one boss telling me I was flippant, and it really hurt. It was really bad, and it was sort of like started to watch everything. And this is where you also sometimes have to realise that you're not a good mix. Whether you be the employee or the employer, you actually got to be honest with yourself. And I tried to be who he wanted for about 3 months, and people saying you're not the same person, what's wrong? You're always, and I tried to be the sort of leader. He just wanted very serious all the time and miserable. So I left. And people that knew me said, oh my God, that made such a difference. So yeah.
It's always good to get to be yourself. That's great. Okay, well, I'd like to know a little bit about some of the tips that you have so that people can improve on their leadership skill. I can tell from our conversation already, you read a lot of books and you've got a lot of knowledge from learning. And you mentioned about a mentor as well. So how do people get their hands on like a mentor, and what are the other tips to improve their skills?
Okay, very passionate. You know, I love this stuff. Networking may be informal or formal. Quite often the informal is the best. It could be neighbours. I've had some of the best advice from people that I've met in my personal life. Also, in terms of, you don't have to actually join a professional association. There's a group of girls you used to work with, some of them I know in Melbourne, that they got sick to death of going to these conferences, and they said everyone's really old like you. And my daughter was one of them, by the way. They weren't being offensive, they were also being humorous. They said we and also all male dominated, and so they just said, you know what, we're actually going to start our own group, informal professional group, and they invited CEOs and CPOs and CFOs to come and talk to them. They turned it around, and it's still going and very, very successful. So that's one way of networking. Definitely your LinkedIn profile. Be very careful about your social pages ones, as we know, everything's back. But networking, also giving knowledge, become known as a knowledge sharer. If you can, when you're with people, and even if it's a casual conversation, if you listen to their particular needs, and I'll give you a great example here. The other day, someone reached out to me and said, oh, look, can we catch up? And, you know, temptation sometimes is to say, oh, no, I'm too busy. I said, yeah, I'll catch up for a coffee. And he was telling me about his consultancy firm, and I'm thinking, oh, yeah, I don't really know anyone. And I said, look, if anything comes up. The next day I had a lunch with another girl I used to work with in her father, and got this very successful business. And they were asking for a consultant that was able to help them with exactly. So I walked out of the restaurant, 5 minutes, I put them in touch, and he's engaged in there. So become a sharer, be someone that, and don't expect to get anything for it, you know. Value comes in many forms. It's not necessarily $1. I know that it's good to earn money. I love earning money, but there's stuff you have to do for free. It's not for free because you get something out of it yourself. You get it. You feel good giving. I definitely get a good hit out of it. And so life, you know, you've got to give. You can't be a taker. But then if it reverses and you need some help, people will actually you'll have people that you can ring up that are really good. The other thing is coaching and mentoring. They're very different things. I didn't used to think they were until I was asked to do a coaching course, and I went, oh, well, I've done mentoring, I know how to. And they said, no, it's different. And these people were very good. I found it, as you would imagine, and I think you may too, Lynn, I found it very a coach, because a coach actually has to allow the person to come up with the solution themselves, whereas people will give you examples of what they've done that is similar in ideas, but a coach is a very, very different. So some people go very well with coaches, other people go very well with mentors. So I would like listening to be really read up about the differences between those things, to work out if they need a coach or a mentor. Some stages in your life you need a mentor, some stages you need to have a coach. So and study, and study can be in the form of informal. It doesn't have to be a degree, or it can be in any capacity. It may be webcasts, it may be podcasts, it may like anything that you can to actually keep on learning. I find LinkedIn is fascinating. I actually drill down into articles. I find links. Another thing is, if you can't afford to go to a conference, hope you're not running any and you charge people, because it's interesting. What I do is, if I see one, especially if it's overseas, I'll look at the people and I'll say, oh, that would be interesting. Then I actually Google them and I start reading their articles online.
Yep. Yeah, I'm a passionate learner now. Like, I read a book at least once. I try to read one a month, but now I'm trying to push to one a week. But it becomes addictive. Like when you read something, you learn something, and then your life transforms, or your mindset changes, and you're like, oh, I'm addicted to, like, what else can I learn? So yeah, it's something that at the beginning it was like I should read, but then it becomes I love to read now, because it's great. So thank you so much. And how about your mentors that you said in the past? Did you come across them and they became your mentor, or did you pay them to be a mentor?
I've never paid anyone to be a mentor. I know in when I was in the government, they paid, but they paid for me to have a coach one.
Yep.
But all of the people that I've usually picked people that are the total opposite to me, actually. They're people, and then there's, but other mentors have got people I've worked with, people that are in my teams that I'm still, because I run things by them. Do you think, or about this and that? So most of mine have been, I've gone out and looked for them, and there's lots of places now. Like, I am 58, it's all changed a lot. There's a lot of really good places that you can go online to get people for free as well. Also, a lot of the universities run mentoring. I've been on the Vic Uni's mentoring program for a while. But for me, it was pretty well I had to find them. But I
Yeah. So when you find someone that's helpful, do you have to ask them that, can you be my mentor from now, or do you just come back to them again and again and sort of, deep down they're your mentor?
Both.
Okay.
Right. But I think the hardest thing though I had, again, when I was about your age, when a mentor gave me some advice and I didn't like it, I didn't talk to him for a year.
You didn't take it well. And was he right or was he wrong?
Oh, he was right.
Okay. Yep.
Totally right, but I didn't want to hear it.
You didn't want to hear it.
Again, it's a really defining lesson in my career, a milestone, that sometimes we don't always want to hear what people tell us. And if you want to grow,
you have to.
You have to do that. I forgot to say about leadership too, about being a good leader. Modesty. Like so many, it's not nice today how many people are really egotistical with leaders.
Yeah, that's my pet hate too. I want leaders to genuinely love the people and not love the people for their benefit, if you know what I mean. Like,
I think in what you do in your company, Lynn, though, I think if I was assigning, let's say I was one of the people that was assigning some work to working with one of your team members, and they're becoming part of their, the virtual team.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be really interested in learning about what sort of things they wanted to do as well. Like if I had someone that was really good, again, let's go back to the analysts, but they really would like to do a little bit of work on some writing skills, that your the employers actually give them a go, let them try, give them a little task that they can do, or put them in touch with someone that could help them, or share some information about how they can grow. So otherwise, like, I'm sure no one wants to do a boring job. If someone's no one's ever changing, and seeing this is that, I'm sure that it's such a valuable service that you've put together, that to me it's such an opportunity for the people that are engaging your team, for them to be really good leaders. Just because it's over the web, it's even better. They really become part of the team, not just something. With outsourced work, you see far too much of it where people have no respect.
Yeah.
This is people's livelihoods. They're not doing it because, they want to enjoy. They spend a lot of time doing it. So I think that's exactly
that's exactly what our mission is, to really make people realize that these are just people, staff members that just happen to live overseas, but they are valuable members if you put time and effort in them and care about them. And they can definitely be so powerful. Actually, I have a comment from one of my team member, Jonathan. He says here, I always have problem taking the lead. Like, I would rather be the follower, but really a loyal follower and supporter. You always have my back following the leader. Not 100% clear what he said here, but I'll tell you a little background on John. So John was a graphic designer, and when I got him to start to help project manage a team, he started panicking, going, oh, but I don't know how to manage, and I'm more good with design, and I'd rather do that. And now he's the best project manager ever. And it was just because he didn't even see his own potential. I just knew that he already knew what he was doing. He knew how our business was running. And so it's only sort of organically, the growth was organic, that he would be able to help the next people that are coming in. So I just made him to become like a manager. And he really even asked me, can I stop being a manager? And then lucky I just pushed him through it and encouraged him. And because, he just wanted to be a follower. But then, he had no choice. But I guess I didn't push him, but I encouraged him that, no, this is good for you. And now I'm glad to say that he loves it now. He's actually a project manager and managing a bunch of developers and designers. And so that's the story about John.
That's Jonathan, isn't it?
Yes.
My message to Jonathan would be, those trust sessions where you fall back into a crowd and the crowd are there to carry you.
Carry you, yep.
He needs to think of it like that the people around him, including yourself, don't want him to fail. They'll be there to hold him up. And, to me, you have to do that. But look, over the years, I've thrown so many people. You're still there and to help if they get into trouble. But I'm notorious for doing that with when I've been doing conferences and there's been a team member or someone I know in the audience, I'll just shoot a question to them or ask them to come up and talk about something they've done. I am absolutely destroyed.
Oh, my God, they would be like put on the spot,
Remember Tracy at 10X? So I did that to her many, many times. So Jonathan, well done. That's a part. I'm sure he'll realise that and do the same with people that are working with him.
Yeah, that's right. He has. He's been a great, great leader. So I'm very proud of that. Well, that leads me to the last question. I know we've been probably about 30 minutes in already. So what's the one key takeaway that you want people to know about how to be a great leader?
Life is like a bank. You can't always do withdrawals. You've got to do lots of deposits. And I think it's about when you leave this mortal coil, how would you like to be remembered? Would you like to have a bank full of, the deposits outweigh the withdrawals, and I think that's the most important thing. And you've got to be able to, you have to give to people. I just think that's probably the biggest thing that I could say as a takeaway. You know, it's a very Christian value. It's pretty well based on the principles.
Yep, thank you so much for that, because at our Outsourcing Angel, we're all about love, and we actually have a mission called Spreading the Love. We encourage the VAs to also like share the knowledge about how to be a virtual assistant. How do they get a job like this? Because there's so many people in their country that is still very poor and haven't even heard about this opportunity. And so we've made them sort of have that mission for them as well, not to just, work and make money for yourself, but to invest back their time and knowledge into their society. So,
hey, yeah. Can I just add one thing, because I always have my staircase talk, as my partner calls it. Yep. I think there's a really good taking that concept with the employers that use outsourcing. They have an opportunity to be other sorts of leaders for those people by promoting what the organisation, it's not a company, the organisation and the group is trying to do. They can do it as well. So, yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. And Jonathan just said thanks, Antoinette, as well. And thank you so much. And I look forward to working with you more, because you've always been an inspiration. Now you're retired. You have a lot more time for me. So thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.